Hi guys, I promised I would record the math lesson from today to go over fractions on a number line. So to find this assignment, this is the one that is under Thursday. So it's under classwork, under Thursday, math fractions. I just clicked that and then clicked on the link and this popped up. Don't worry about page 2, 3, or 4. We're just gonna focus on page 1 today. So what I did is, since we don't have the packets here, we're going to do it on paper on our DocCam. So I'm going to copy this first one and then we'll do it together and I'll show you. So parts on a number line. A number line can also be divided into equal parts. And what I want you to start doing is just envision this number line as a candy bar. Okay, so this is a whole candy bar. Think of like a Hershey's candy bar. The chocolate ones. If I wanted to split my candy bar to share with my friends, I would have to make sure it's split in equal pieces, because if I had a bigger piece and gave that to someone else, they'd probably be upset with me. They'd be like, that person got a bigger piece. So to keep it fair, we try to split them in equal pieces, which is where fractions come into play. So here's an example. It says this number line shows 2/5. So let's explain this a little bit. So 2/5, right here, do you see the shaded part? This is one piece from 0 to 1/5. When you go from this line to this line, this represents one whole piece of the candy bar. This is another piece. So that's why they're saying that this person ate 2 pieces of their candy bar. And actually, let me make this a little bigger so you can see it. That might be better. Okay. So this person ate 2 pieces, 1 piece here, 2 pieces here. And how they got the 5 is the 5 represents the total number of pieces in our candy bar when we split them. So if you look, we've got 1 piece here, 2 pieces here, 3 pieces here, 4 pieces here, and 5 pieces right here. Okay? To make the numbers, we first determine how many pieces it was split. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we know our denominators are always going to be 5 because it's always the same when we split it. So if you notice, our number line starts with 0. But what's different is we don't just go from 0 to 1 whole, because our 1 whole is right here. So this is our whole candy bar. So if I ate all of this, that represents 1 whole candy bar. Because we split it, this is just 1 part of the candy bar, which is why we have 1/5 of the candy bar, 2/5 of the candy bar, 3/5 of the candy bar, and 4/5, and so on. So we do count from 0 and go to 1, 2, 3, 4, but we have to make sure we put it over the denominator right here, okay? If we kept counting, we would go from 4 to 5 here, but that would be 5 over 5. And this line right here represents a fancy division. So if you do 5 divided by 5, that actually equals 1, because 5 goes into 5 one time. So that's why we just put 1 right here instead of 5 over 5. Okay? So we're going to practice this. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit here. And our instructions for these little boxes here is it says divide each number line below to represent the fraction name. Then label each fraction on the number line as shown in the example above. So they want us to just do a line and then label our fractions. We're not looking to do this part. We're just looking to make the number line. So I'm going to switch over to my DocCam, and we're going to do this one. So go ahead and do this. So this is what I was explaining to the class. If you were not able to see the camera, this is like, say I'm taking a test, this is the scrap paper they would give us. So up here I would write page, and this is just because for Miss Dockery's purpose, page 1. Ooh, sorry guys. So we're working on page 1, so that's how I know what to look at for your answers, okay? So that's just for me. You don't have to do that on a test. So right now, these ones don't have numbers, because look, number 1's down here. So I'm just going to call this A, okay? So I'm going to write A. And then I'm just going to copy the number line that's on there. This is doing math the old school way, like when Miss Doherty was in school. We had to do everything on paper from the textbook. So they have a 0 here, and they have a 1 here. And they told us to split this in halves. So I have to think to myself, what does halves mean? How many pieces am I going to have in halves? Okay, so halves means, say I said, okay guys, fold your paper in half. That means this, right? So now I have one piece here and another piece here. So really, I've got two pieces. So halves means two. Okay, so I'm just going to write this here really quick so I know I have two pieces. So that means I want to cut my candy bar completely in half. So to do that, I want to do a line right here. Okay, so now I have one piece, two pieces. Okay, so remember to label the lines, they're not really even, but I tried my best. I'm just eyeballing. So to label this, we go from 0 to 1, but I have to put this over something. So 1 over, well, I have two pieces, and the 2 is always how many I started with, okay? So we have 1/2. So if I said, okay, well, if I shaded this part in, what's the fraction of that? You would say 1/2. I ate half of the candy bar, okay? So let me go over really quick, just in case you missed it. The denominator is on the bottom. This is a denominator. Denominator. And the denominator always tells us the total number of pieces we started with, always, okay? The numerator goes on the top. Numerator. And that tells us how many pieces we ate, okay? Just remember, denominator starts with a D and down starts with a D, right? So denominator means down, which is always on the bottom. Denominator is down on the bottom, okay? All right. So we're done with A. That's all they want you to do is the number line. That's it. And then label your fractions. So I'm going to box this off because I'm done with A. And then I'm going to go on to B. So if we go to B, I'm going to call this guy right here B, okay? So they want us to do sixths. And I'm just going to draw this number line again. Notice how they gave us a candy bar, a whole candy bar. Okay, so I'm going to draw a number line. And they have 0 and they have 1. Okay, and they said split it into sixths. Okay, so I have to think to myself, what does sixths mean? Well, the word 6 is in that, so I'm going to assume they mean 6 equal pieces of candy. Okay, so I'm going to split my candy bar into 6 pieces. Now, because 6 is an even number, I'm going to cut him in half again first. And then I'm going to make sure I have 3 pieces here and 3 pieces here. So I'm going to have 1 piece, 2 pieces, 3 pieces. 1 piece, 2 pieces, 3 pieces. So I want to show you a trick about this. Do you see my pink little lines? If you notice, to make 6 equal pieces, I have to draw 5 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which gives me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces. So if you think, if I have 6 equal pieces I need, if I subtract 1, then I only need to draw 5 lines on my number line. Now that's not including the 0 and the 1. That's just the ones that I drew. Okay? Little trick. I'll go over that every time we do it. Okay? So now I'm going to label my fraction lines. So remember, we go from 0 to 1, and I have 6 total pieces. So it's always going to be over 6 for my denominator. So then we go from 1 to 2. We're just counting up. I could literally go through this 2, 3, 4, 5. And then make sure I put all of these over 6 total pieces. So really, if I said, okay, if I ate 5 pieces, I really ate 5/6 of the candy bar, which is where they get the sixths from, okay? You might be asking, okay, why is it from 5 to 1? Well, really, this would be 5 and then 6 over 6. But again, remember earlier I said 6 divided by 6 equals 1 whole candy bar. Because if I ate this whole thing, that means I ate 1 whole candy bar, okay? That's why they put the 1 there. All right, so I'm going to box this off. And then I'm going to do one more of those boxes, and I'm going to call this C, okay? So C is right here. It says thirds. So I'm just going to draw this number line right here, and then I'm going to do thirds. So here's my number line. And we have a 0, and then we have a 1 that represents my whole candy bar, and they said, split this candy bar into thirds. Okay, so now with thirds, it doesn't really have the number in there, but if I think like a competition, I know first place, second place, third place, which means 3, right? I'm in third place, so third is 3. So they want me to split my candy bar into 3 equal pieces. Well, remember my trick up here? If I want 3 equal pieces and I subtract 1, I only need to draw 2 lines, okay? So because 3 is not an even number, I can't split him in half because then if I put another one, it's not going to be equal. So I just have to eyeball this one. So I'm going to draw 2 extra lines from the 2 I already have there. So I'm just going to do 1 line and 2 lines, okay? So now I have 1 piece, 2 pieces, 3 pieces, my 3, okay? My thirds. So remember, the denominator is always the total number of pieces I started with. So my denominator on these are always going to be 3 because I have 3 equal pieces. So now we're just going to count up from 0 to 1, 1 to 2, and then 2 to 3. But remember, 3 divided by 3 is 1 whole candy bar. Okay? So that's how they want you to do those. I'm going to jump down to number 1 now on the paper so I can explain to you what they mean by the shaded area. So now I'm going to write number 1 because now we're getting into the numbers. So if you look at number 1, let me scroll down a little bit. It says write a fraction for each part of the number line that is shaded. So they want me to figure out a fraction for however many pieces they ate, okay? So I'm going to copy this number line onto my line paper really quick. And I just want to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They drew 5 extra lines from the 0 and the 1, okay? So I'm going to come here, I'm going to draw my number line. So they have 0, and then they have 1. And then they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? And then I want to go back because I want to shade in the right part. So everything but this last part is going to get shaded. So I'm going to use a highlighter so you can see the shaded. Everything but 1. So now the shaded part is represented by the purple highlight. I like using highlighters so you can still see the number lines too. So, all right, and just for practice, they didn't tell us to label the line, but I'm going to do it anyway. So I first need to figure out how many pieces do I have in this candy bar so I know what my denominator is going to be. So I have 1 piece here, 2 pieces here, 3, 4 pieces, 5 pieces, 6 pieces, right? So my denominator on my fraction is going to have a 6 because I always have how many total pieces I have in the denominator. Okay, so I'm going to start from 0. I'm going to go 1 over 6, 2 over 6. I'm just counting up. 3 over 6, 4 over 6, 5 over 6, and then 6 over 6, but that would be my whole entire candy bar. Okay? So they want to know, how many pieces did you eat out of this candy bar from the shaded area? Well, my shaded area goes all the way up to 5 pieces. So I ate 5/6 of the candy bar. So the fraction for the answer for number 1 should be 5/6. So I circle it because I know that's my answer so Miss Doherty can see what the answer is because sometimes my paper can get messy. And then I'm going to box this off. So I am done with number 1. Okay. Let's try one more. Let's do number 2. Okay. So number 2, I'm just going to copy this line again onto my line paper because it's really hard. This part's easy. But when we get deeper into pictures and stuff, it's hard to draw pictures on the computer. So that's why I'm telling you just to do it on paper. So I have 1, 2 extra lines I'm going to draw on my number line. So here I'm going to write number 2, and I'm going to draw my number line. And they have 0, and they have 1. And then they had 2 extra lines, okay? I want to go back, and they have 1, 2 pieces shaded. Let's do a different color this time. So let's do 1, 2. So my shaded area is represented by the pink highlight. All right, so let's label our number line. So first I have to figure out how many total pieces I have in my candy bar. Well, here's 1 piece, 2 pieces, 3 pieces. So I know that my denominator is going to have a 3 because that represents the total number of pieces in my candy bar. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and count up. So I go from 0 to 1, but I have to make sure I put him over 3. 1 to 2, 2, but he has to go over 3. And then 2 to 3, which would be 3 over 3, which actually just equals 1, because that would be the whole candy bar at that point. So according to this, I ate 2 pieces out of 3. So my fraction would be 2/3 for the answer for number 2. Okay. So I'm going to box this off. I have you box it off just because it helps me see and keeps it kind of organized for you to see. Because if you're taking a test and you're doing scrap paper like this, say you were stuck on number 2, you could just box it off and then move on and come back and know which part of the work you were working on for number 2. It's just to keep it organized. It's a me thing. If you don't like it that way, that's okay. You don't have to do it this way. This is just keeps it nice and tidy. Okay? That's where we left off in class today. So your assignment is to complete questions 3 through 8. So you're going to do 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay? Don't worry about 2, 3, and 4. We only did this one page in class today. When you are done with your page, I just wanted to show you really quick how to upload this into your assignment. So say I'm done with everything I did 1 through 8, and it's all on my paper, okay? I go back to my assignment here that I'm on, okay? And I want to take a picture of the paper that I did. So I come up right next to the text box is this little box that says Insert Image. If you hover over anything, it tells you what it is. Click the drop-down box and click Camera. It's going to show my face, of course. All right. So then, just like on your camera, you're going to hold up your work, okay? Try to angle it the best you can. That's hard, I know. Let me put my hand down here. Okay? You're going to click the yellow camera. Boop. Takes a picture of it. Okay? So then you have to make sure you highlight it in blue and then say Insert. And there it is. So I'm going to make it a little bigger because I know Miss Doherty needs glasses to see, so I think she'll really like that I made it bigger, okay? Once you have it in here, I don't care if it's covering this math paper, okay? Let me make this a little smaller now so you can see, okay? So there, it's on my math paper. Here's my work. I finished 1 through 8. When I'm ready, I'm going to go back to my Google Classroom because anything I put on here automatically saves, okay? I could even get fancy and double click on here and crop out the background. You just click the black lines here if you want to be fancy. Oh. Okay. And then when you're done cropping, just click on the outside. So there you go. So now it's just the actual work. All right, so then Miss Doherty can see I did my work and I'm ready to go turn it in. So I go back to my assignment. This is where it's going to be a little different because I don't get to have that turn in button. But do you see right here where it says view assignment? When you click that, you're not going to see everybody here. You're just going to go and click turn in. And that's it. And then you're done. So if you guys have any questions, have Mom or Dad Class Dojo me, or you can email me and I can give you some help. All right. Bye, guys.